Hey everyone, or whoever's here so far, we're gonna test this out and see if anybody gets onto this. But if they don't, that's okay, because this will be seen after. Hope you all are having a great Sunday night and have had a fantastic week, given everything that obviously is going on in your community and all of our communities and around the world. Um, I'd like to welcome you to this channel, this show, whatever you want to call it. My name is Ernesto Bejarano. I am the creator of a web app and an Android app called Social Work Mentor. And I've been a social worker or worked in the capacity of some level of social worker for the past almost 25 years. And so, in my free time, as you can see, I kind of still enjoy doing social work stuff, and that's what I'm doing here tonight. And I'll be trying to do going forward. So if you happen to look at this or see this last weekend, you will know that that was a bit of a test. So this whole internet, going live on the internet thing is somewhat new to me, and I'm trying it out and seeing if there's ways that I can put myself out there and be helpful in any way to current social workers or up and coming social workers or people that are thinking about becoming social workers. I really would like to be helpful to them. And so that was a test last week. This week is still a bit of a test. But that being said, I'm going to go forward with it and keep trying to chug along and see if we can't get something done here. So at the filming of this, I don't know when you'll be watching it, but at the filming of this, it is Sunday night. It is Sunday. Let me check the date. I've kind of lost track of time these days. I don't know if that's happened to any of you. April the 19th, 2020. And so this is Sunday night when I'm filming it. So right now, as a plan, I'm going to become more consistent in doing these. And the plan for now is to do them on Sunday nights. So it'll be hopefully a weekly thing that I do come on Sunday nights, and that may change in the future, but for now, that's the plan. And basically, what I'll be doing on Sunday nights is kind of reviewing the week that was, whether it's my week or the news in social work, or as people share things with me through social media and different ways, maybe things that I can share from the past week, and I look forward to the week to come. So that's what the plan is to do on this particular broadcast. Eventually, I plan on doing more interactive things with live, whether that's through live chat or answering questions that are sent to me. And I'll actually be answering one question at the end of the broadcast tonight that came to me that I thought was kind of interesting. So we'll be answering questions, and eventually the big plan is to try to get to interviews. I would like to, and it's not really that difficult now, so I don't know how much of a big plan it is, because a lot of people are communicating through Zoom or other platforms, and it's very easy to do an interview in that way. And so hopefully I will be able to broadcast out helpful information and different perspectives of other social workers or people that work in the helping professions. So that's part of the plan as well. I've had a couple of requests so far, but if you actually feel like you have an interesting perspective or do some interesting level of work in social work or around social work, or you just want to share your opinion and perspective, please contact me. You can contact me through a number of different ways, and I'll just go ahead and put it up here now. So you can contact me, I don't know which way I'm pointing, this way, I guess, through any of my social media accounts or through email directly, and let me know if you have questions that you'd like me to try to answer or give my opinion on, or if you actually would like to be an interview and part of this. I don't know if you would call this a podcast or a broadcast or a video, but whatever you want to call it, if you'd like to take an active part in it, feel free to contact me at one of those locations. And so all that being said, I'll just get into it. I don't want to be on here too late, because Sunday night, and many of us are fortunate to still be working. And the level of work that we are having to do, whether that's being essential workers and being out in the field still, or being able to work remotely for a large part, that's very different. And that's one of the things that I hope to get to in these broadcasts. But many of us, in any case, are having to go to work tomorrow. So Sunday nights is, we're going to try to keep it short and sweet to the extent possible. So I just want to put out a question out there to everybody, and just, either for your own reflection or for, for you to think about. But even better, again, if you want to go ahead and contact me and send me the answers to this question for you, you could do it through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, email, whatever, and I may have some comments next week. But one of the things that I wanted to just ask is, what did you learn in the last week? What's something that you've learned? This is a very new situation to many of us. The way we work, the policies and protocols and procedures that have been put in place by our organizations or whoever it is that we work for, things have been changing at a rapid pace for many of us. Sometimes minute by minute, it seems like there's changes. And so with all the change going on and everything that we're having to adapt to, what did you learn in the past week, either about yourself, your practice, your organization, or even just the field of social work? What insights have you had? For me, I think that one of the things I've learned in the past week, as I'm able to see here on my screen, is this haircut situation is becoming quite a situation. I know a lot of people are getting haircuts at home and having their partners cut their hair, or I've seen some kids cutting hair. I don't know if I would trust my kids to cut my hair, but my hair, it may come to that because it's getting out of control. But that's okay. I'm in the spirit of really adapting to the situation. I'm intentionally, letting it go wild and all this stuff too. So, that one thing I learned is that it's getting real with the personal haircutting and stuff like that. But another thing, on a more serious note, that I've learned in the past week is that, as I mentioned, these new systems and protocols we're learning and having to develop to get our work done over these past several weeks, they're kind of, at least on my end, they're kind of becoming more formalized, or informally, I say more formalized, they become more systematized, or structured, but they really haven't been formalized yet. And so one of the things that I've learned is that I think it's important for me and in my reality of my practice, and just so you know, I'm a social work supervisor, so I supervise a unit of seasoned social workers, and some other time I can get into the specific area that we practice in, but we're practicing very differently. And so what I'm trying to focus on in this past week and this coming week is to really begin to document what we are doing, because everyone is kind of just trying to, do what they need to do to just to get along and to get by, to be able to practice in a normal way. But no one yet is really documenting and putting this stuff down on paper. Some of the larger level things, yes, are being documented, but at the practice level, on the ground, some of the things that we are doing and trying to implement at a very granular detail level. How do you interact with your clients? How do you do things when you're in a home? If you have to be in a home, what precautions are you taking? All those very granular things we are beginning to document, and we're putting them into a format so that we can share them with our colleagues who are doing very similar work, and that we can all kind of be on the same page about our approach. And like I said, some of the higher level policies are beginning to develop from our organization and our jurisdiction here in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. But we're, as social workers on the ground, there are a lot that's not captured in those policies, that they're giving us the what to do, but not the how to do it. And so that's what I think I'm learning, is that I need to, as a supervisor, document these things and begin to make sure that we have them captured, so that at some point we can share them with others and kind of tweak them as we go, to make sure that we're all practicing in a safe and consistent way that works for everyone. So that's a couple of learnings that I've had in the past week, and what I hope to continue learning next week. As I mentioned, one more time, if you have anything you've learned or that you want to share for the next week when I come on here, or even on social media, just share it. There's the social media ways that you can contact me. And so, to get to the next part that I wanted to talk about today, and I'm just switching back. This is a one-man show here, so I'm just trying to make this work, and I'm looking back and forth on my screens. But I mentioned that there was a question that came to me this week that I thought was somewhat interesting, and I'm actually hoping to learn and see if there's something that I can get, some new information I can get from this. So I'm going to go ahead and read the message that I got. Excuse me. It's a message that came to me in a DM in Instagram, so I won't read the person's name, their handle, because if they DM me, I'm not sure whether they want it to be public, but I'll just go ahead and read it first. Actually, let me take a sip of water. Okay, now I'm ready. So this is what they wrote. I just saw a video on Facebook where child abuse was taking place. It was painful, and I stumbled across it while scrolling. I immediately reported it to Facebook. Facebook does not have a child abuse category, so I filed it under violence. I contacted Facebook asking them to add a child abuse category because horrific videos still somehow circulate. I read someone stated the video was from Brazil. I don't know what can be done to help this poor child, but I feel terrible, almost a bit of trauma after watching. Do you recommend I do anything else? So, I don't know how many of you have come across this scenario. I know I have. I've come across videos on Facebook, specifically on Facebook, that are they are graphic and explicitly showing obvious child abuse. The videos that I've seen appear to be from other countries. I don't know that to be the case for sure, but they appeared that way to me. But they were, and obviously, different cultures have different, standards or different expectations, laws, mores, whatever you want to say about child rearing, discipline, and child abuse. But under any definition, I would say that what I saw, and I probably have seen two of them, was very clearly child abuse. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And some of you may have seen one or some of those videos as well. And so my response was that to this individual was that they did the right thing. They did report it to Facebook. That's what I did, and it takes you through a little process of how to report, and they give you a category, and the same for me. There was no category for child abuse, so I just reported it under violence. This person actually went the extra mile and actually requested them to put in a category for child abuse, and that's great advocacy. But unfortunately, I think Facebook or any of these large platforms, they may or may not ever, get to the level where they specifically call out child abuse or domestic violence, intimate partner violence, or, some of the specific issues that we see and deal with. So at some level, we may have to come to grips with that violence is as narrow as we may get it, but we should always report those things and advocate for putting child abuse or putting intimate partner violence as a category. It doesn't hurt to let those platforms know that there are more specific ways to categorize those things. However, violence is violence, so that's fine just reporting it as that. But the other thing that I said is that I think for me, one way, knowing that I'm not going to always be able to change Facebook or Twitter or whatever where we see these negative things, one way that I feel that I can contribute is by counterbalancing those things or even outweighing them by continuing to put out educational, positive, information about whether it's child abuse or domestic violence or just putting out awareness and making people, educating people using, social media, as we all have come to learn, is fantastic for many things: communication, sharing of information, good information, but it's also, obviously we've seen, can be very dangerous. And so given that we don't always have control over the dangerous part, we do have control over how helpful we can be using these platforms. And so I think that as a response to seeing so much negative stuff that we can't always control, one thing that we can do is try our best to put advocacy and positivity and education and awareness out there. And at some level, like I said, for me, I feel good knowing that, it's not the social networks are not going to be filled and drowned out with negativity, but they'll have information and positivity coming forward. So, two things: if you have different thoughts on how to approach this, I would love to see those and hear those. And again, here's where you can send your responses, information. And the second thing is, I wonder if anyone knows specifically if there are other ways of contacting Facebook or reporting to Facebook in a more specific way that would identify either child abuse or alcoholism or whatever it is that we want to report something for. So I'd love to hear those things in the coming week. So thank you, person, if you're watching this, who sent me that question on Instagram. And I hope some people, you've been able to reflect on that and maybe share some information with me in the coming week, like I said. So for now, that's going to be it for this broadcast. What did I call it? Sunday Night Social Work or something like that. I put in the title. But that's going to be it for now. So if you're not familiar with our website or the app that we have, you can go to socialworkmentor.com, and that is the web app. So you can use that on a desktop computer or a tablet, iPad, Mac, PC, Android phone. It works everywhere in your browser. So as long as you have a connection to the internet and a browser to use, you can use Social Work Mentor there. Or you can download it if you have an Android phone from the Google Play Store. And what you'll find on the Social Work Mentor is there's some free downloadable tools that you can get access to there. If you're familiar with Safety Organized Practice, there's things there for that. There are some guidelines for solution-focused questions and techniques that you can use to elicit information from clients. So there's a lot of stuff that many people have found helpful, and you can check it out at socialworkmentor.com. Also, another quick thing, if you want to start off this coming week, because it's Sunday night as I'm recording this, and if you want to start off, you've been working from home now maybe for a couple of weeks, or I think this is like a month for me, and I started to realize that there's some things I need at home in my home office to function well, and so I have a little, like a lumbar thing that I purchased for my back for this seat, which has done wonders, and I also have this rising desk thing that allows me to stand up and work during the day, which also has been very helpful. So I put together some links that you might find some